ELO lived in a teacup. Not just any teacup, but a cracked porcelain one with faded roses. Left long ago on a quiet Lagos windowsill. Rain had filled it into a tiny pond, where moss curled gently along the rim and dragonflies whispered above like dancers in silk. 2 ELO. The teacup was a world. Petals floated like boats. Beetles told time by the sun's slant across the rim. A rusted spoon lay at the bottom, long since claimed by algae and story. ELO was a snail, soft-shelled and quiet, known for two things: moving slowly and thinking deeply. He spent his days gliding over the curved rim, watching droplets form and fall, listening to the cup's echoes. The pond was peaceful, safe, small, yes, but enough. One evening, the wind changed. It came sudden and sharp, rattling the tin roof. A gust pushed against the windowsill, and the teacup shifted with a groan. Not much, just a tilt, but enough to send a ripple through the pond and a tremble through its creatures. The cup moved, whispered a young gnat. It could tip, cried a water bug. Panic buzzed through the pond like static. But ELO didn't panic. He looked up at the rim, then at the porcelain handle, now angled toward the window's edge. If the cup tipped, the water would spill. The pond would be gone. Everyone would fall. ELO had seen the edge once, a drop too far for wings or shell. He felt it in his slime. They didn't have long. The others looked to him, not because he was fastest, but because he had moved through storms before. He thought, then spoke. I will climb the handle. I will find the house spiders. Gasps. You'll never make it. Too far. Too slow. But ELO was already gliding, each inch a prayer to the porcelain. The handle curved high like a question mark. It had never been climbed before. He passed a petal raft, where beetles huddled. Wait here, he said gently. The water will hold a little longer. His trail glowed behind him like a line of thought. The curve was slick. Rain still drizzled. Twice he slipped. Once he nearly fell. But ELO's shell pressed close to the surface, and his body remembered the ridges. He knew how to listen to stillness, and the cup whispered guidance. Halfway up, he stopped. The pond looked small now. His whole world, a puddle in porcelain. But he kept climbing. Each inch slower. Each breath longer. His mind stayed quiet. He didn't rush. At the top, the handle met the sill. A chip in the rim gave him a ledge. He pushed himself over it. His body trembled with effort. But he was out. The wind hit him harder now. Dry. Smelling of dust and books. The windowsill stretched like a desert. But he knew where to go. The spiders lived behind the wooden shutter. He had seen their webs dance on warm days. It took him hours. Or maybe minutes? Time moved strangely in moments like these. But he reached the threads. Please, he said. His breath barely a bubble. The cup will fall. Help us anchor it. The eldest spider, gray and thread thin, peered down. She said nothing, just nodded, and vanished into shadow. ELO rested beneath the sill lip, too tired to move. Behind him, threads began to spool. Dozens of them, like harpstrings spun across the porcelain. The spiders were weaving anchors. Strong, invisible, enough. By dawn, the cup had stopped moving. Balanced, quiet, safe. ELO returned hours later, sliding down the handle, slower than ever. His friends saw him and surged forward, buzzing and chirping. You did it! You saved the pond! He only smiled, and curled up on the warmest edge of the rim. Not to be praised, just to rest. The pond held. The petals floated again. A snail's trail still shimmered on the handle, proof of one journey. Slow but true. Now, whenever the wind rises, and the teacup creaks, the pond creatures stay calm. They look to the handle, and remember the one who climbed without fear. ELO still glides in circles, still listens to the rain. But now, the others listen too, because courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it moves at a snail's pace. And in a cracked cup on a forgotten windowsill, a whole world floats, anchored not by strength, but by thought. And from that day on, whenever a petal floats too far, or the water stirs too fast, someone whispers, "Follow the trail." Because in ELO's path, they remember even the gentlest journey can hold a world together.